Congressman Chaffetz, I've got to ask you this.
Yes.
Am I going to get, not me, are we, the people, going to get to the bottom of the email thing before Election Day? Are you going to lead us to the promised land?
I'm not going to drive this investigation based on the political calendar, but I'm not going to slow it down, but I also shouldn't be speeding it up. It's going to take its own trajectory. It took years in the making to make this mess. It's going to take years to unravel it. I'd like to get to the truth sooner rather than later. That's why I think that Hillary Clinton should tell her employees, stop pleading the fifth, tell the truth. There's no risk.
She's not going to do that.
Yeah, but there's no risk of prosecution. But that tells you a lot, doesn't
it? Yes, but there's the risk that the stuff comes out there. That's the last thing you'd want.
We did find this email, and then we put it out there. It didn't get a lot of attention, but it was basically Platte River Networks people, the people that were contracted to do this, that said there's some shady and an expletive there, and they wanted to insert a fictitious email into the system to try to cover up something. And so nobody believes that these low-level IT people just suddenly woke up one day, 2 years after she leaves office, and just decided to delete a bunch of emails. There is seems to us, a little bit more of a correlation to David, Mr. Kendall and Cheryl Mills having a conference call, and then less than a week later, all these documents get destroyed. Destruction of federal records is a violation of law into itself, but when there's a preservation order and there's a subpoena in place, and somehow the FBI director believes there's no intent.
Inexplicable.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, and so we legitimately, I think, have a duty and obligation to untangle it.
I think most viewers, most voters had the minutiae of the legalistic wrangling. I think it went right over their head until your hearing, when you had the guy who had smashed the cell phone with the hammer. That image of a hammer being used on a cell phone, that resonated. That told the story more than anything else. And it was in your hearing, I think.
Yes, this was Mr. Cooper, and at least he had the guts to come and answer the questions for Congress. I give him a lot of credit for doing that, but he has no IT background or experience. On the same day she started her Senate confirmation is the day he sent up ClintonEmail.com. No dual authentication, no encryption. This is all the communication with the Secretary of State. She's not the head of Fish and Wildlife. She's the Secretary of State. And we're supposed to believe there were no hacks, no vulnerability there? He didn't even know. He bought this stuff off the shelf and just plugged it in.
At that hearing, Brian Pagliano did not show up.
No.
You'd subpoenaed him.
Yeah.
Why didn't you issue an arrest warrant from the bench or wherever it is you're from? Can't you do that?
I can't. They don't give Congress handcuffs. I can't throw him in jail.
Well, can't you send the marshals out there? I issued a subpoena for him to be here, and he's not here. Go get him.
In the world I live in, subpoenas are not optional, and we are pursuing. Now, we have a hearing on Thursday. We're bending over backwards, Stuart, to give him a chance, but we expect him to show up on Thursday. If he wants to plead the fifth, he can plead the fifth. But when you have an immunity agreement, when you have a Department of Justice saying there's going to be no prosecution, why aren't they singing like songbirds? I want to give him that opportunity.
So
and it's just not an optional opportunity.
It's possible we'll see him on Thursday?
Okay. We're going to have another hearing.